All right, my apologies. I forgot to turn YouTube on. So, um, I'm going to repeat that really quick. Sorry, folks on Twitch, you're going to hear this twice. Um, what I do is when I start the stream, uh, Twitch runs ads. So if I run them right at the beginning while I'm getting things set up, then hey Gabriel, um, if I run them at the beginning when I'm getting things set up, then then they don't run for another hour. So I just run them right away when there's nothing going on anyway. And you can get your cup of coffee or whatever and get everything organized. But then sometimes I forget to turn it on YouTube. So here we are. Um, just yet another reason why y'all should subscribe on Twitch. Anyway, my note, two notes for new products in this week. Today just arrived Vac Mini, TWSBI Vac Minis in clear, extra fine, medium, broad 1.1. Once these are gone, they're gone. Okay. So in fact, I didn't think we were ever going to get any more, and I got notice last week that they had just got in their final shipment. So if you're interested in a Vac Mini ever, now's the time. And when they're done, they're done. You get a day's notice before we launch them on the podcast tomorrow, but they're up on the website now. Horse shear, if you're interested, I still have extra fine, and I believe broad, left, medium, and stub are sold out. Whatever's on the website is correct, so I might be wrong on that medium. It might be broad sold out. I can't remember. But they use a standard silver nib, standard steel nib. So if you needed the stub, but you love the body, my recommendation is to buy something else and swap with a different eco, and worry about the nib later if you want the body. So there we go. In regards to previewing the podcast joke, no. I usually don't pick the joke until like 15 minutes before the podcast. Partly because that's when I get around to it, and then I can remember it. And I quite enjoy my daughter listening to me laugh at jokes, because she always comments that it amuses her greatly. So I clicking on it goes to all TWSBI's. Oh, hang on. Thank you, Colin. I can fix, believe it or not. Yeah, there's a redirect in place because I didn't think we were ever going to get it back. So let me fix that. Oh, so this is annoying. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. We'll get that fixed. Go. Oh yeah, there we go. Vac Mini. Hey, let's blow that redirect out of the water. All right, now it should be good. It might take a bit for your browser to redirect, but let me see if I can give you the correct link here. That would have been embarrassing, huh? There, you got it working? Okay. that over on the YouTube side. And for whatever reason, I can never paste. I don't know if this is a thing. You can't paste in the Twitch. There we go. There it is. All right. Thank you for spotting that. All right. Anyway, that's that. We got these two pens in today. We're going to take a look at them. I'm going to finish this guy up first. We're going to do that next. Then we're going to start disassembling these. And when these are soaking by the time we get to the sack issue, then we're going to move to the next batch. So let's get this guy out of here, because then I can get rid of this one too. So. And this is a little tight fit in here, so I'm going to kind of leave it in there. Actually, I'm going to pull it back out because I've got to thread this in place. Getting tight, so I'm going to use heat. Hey, Spicy. You believe today my back is super strong because I'm live on Twitch. Tell you, I wasn't feeling it about 3 o'clock this morning when I woke up. And it's a little stiff, so I'm going to just... as you remember, as you recall, this one, it took a little effort to get it open. Your dad gets tons of back pain at times. He often complains about it. Let's see if this works. Oh, that's... Nope. Speaking of Twisbies, your daughter knocked your case of 12 Twizzlers off the shelf from about 5 feet high, and the cap of the cerulean snapped in half. Oh, no. TwisbyInc at gmail.com is your friend there, I think. How are those valve stem covers doing? They're doing great. Oh, I hate these. I really hate these. I'm going to trim just a little bit of this off. Version 2.0 will have a cardinal chirping sound. It's unbelievable. That feed is kind of loose. Let's see if it is stable enough. I can't imagine, I could be wrong, that this pen is actually going to see a lot of use. It is so small. I mean, what are we talking? This pen is 8 centimeters. Three and a quarter inches, basically. Is it as small as the feed on your Eggens Hambler? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is nearly impossible to. I got more ink on my fingers from touching the rim of the. First thing we're going to do is we're going to clean that off. Oh, I hate these. I hate these. Today you were really bored. You made software to keep track of your pens? Was it database? You wonder how the Waterman, the Waterman baby is, doll pen is tiny. I saw one last month in person next to a black giant. Comically small is one way I would put it. Yeah, see, it bends and then it's done. It's cooked. Mm. Oh, in fact, well, this is part of the problem here. This was a vintage. That guy's cooked. In fact, it put a hole in my sack. So that's not going to work. All right. Before I bother with replacing the sack, I'm going to see if I have anything even remotely uh, correct size that I can use. Even this looks like it was modified at some point. So that's probably, but The problem is, you know, it bends and then it's impossible to get it straight again. Yeah, see, even that is tight. I bet this wasn't even the original. All right. All right, let's move on to these guys. Okay, interesting. So these should both be threaded sections, even though this is using a three-piece bar. Yeah, that's pretty crusty. Because, of course, the Mandarin won't open. There we go. This is what we're in for today, folks. Oh, man, that's going to be not fun. It just sticks to your, oh, man. I can think of 100 more fun things to do than to pull a sticky, gooey sack. out of a senior Duofold, because this is going to be nasty on my hemostats. It gets stuck on there. It is all the way down the barrel now. This is kind of what it looks like when you use, a non-Waterman ink, or the sac just dissolves. There's a bigger piece. I haven't had one like this in a long time. Of course, it's getting the outside of the barrel all gunky. We'll get that off later, but it gets under the. Pen Addict coming in with the raid. How is everybody? Hey, Fuzzy. Salad spinner time. Yeah. I wish. I've got this nightmare going on today. This gooey, icky, sticky stuff. It's funny. Hey, Pause and Benz. I was just watching today. I mentioned before, newbie. Hey, thanks for the follow. I mentioned before, I've been going through and watching the old Anderson Pence podcasts, and I'm going through in order, kind of seeing the evolution of things, because that's kind of fun. And I came across, I think it was podcast 79 with Brad, when Brad was on, and that was kind of funny. I think it might have been one of our longest podcasts ever. It was an hour and like 49 minutes. We did, if you could believe that. But yeah, I was just watching that today. But I knew it was long, and I had gotten to it yesterday. And I said, well, I need some time to do it. So I turned it on this morning when I was doing shipping. Yeah, look at this nasty ugliness. This is what happens when sacks go bad. And this is just, it's sticky, gooey, smeary, yucky is what that is. And in fact, I just don't even want this piece of paper anymore. You cleaned out 2 pens yesterday. Thought of the salad spinner as you were shaking them out? Yeah, it's called the salad spinner. It will change your life. Yeah, the Duofold's very nice. I don't like that it's all gooey. Ooey, gooey, yucky, patooey. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's really hard to get this sticky stuff. I mean, now I'm gonna have to clean at least these two hemostats because I got crap on them. There's still some more in the barrel. I mean, you know, that pen is definitely worth the hassle, but holy cow. Normally you see this kind of thing in like snorkels. I don't know when the last time this pen was inked. You know, you want this to happen. You want the sack to come out whole. It's just the easiest way to deal with it. Or you want it to come out in pieces. But you don't want it to be sticky like this. You know, and at least this part I can kind of scrape off. This isn't too bad, but when it's in the inside of the barrel, I mean, look at this. Like, I don't even want it on this paper. I mean, it won't even come off the damn knife. Well, this is a perfect example of not every repair is straightforward. So I am going to dunk this in. Let's see if I can tell the difference between these two pens. Yes, okay. So the one with P on it is my orange. But I mean, it's on my fingernail. It's I'll stop complaining. Hazard of the job, though. It's really like a 1% case. But it'd have to be on a Mandarin, and this is an exceptional Mandarin. These Mandarins like this don't come around very often. And I don't recommend most people work on a Mandarin. Unless you've done a few other pens. I got most of it out. Lisa will know I've been busy when she sees my inky hands today. The hand cleaner will take care of it, but it's just... It's just icky because, it gets on everything. It just gets on everything. It's on the barrel now. It's on my tools. Then if you don't get it off of your hands, then it gets back on the tools. I'm just holding it in the ultrasonic, try to get at least the ink component off of the latex. Which maybe might make it less sticky. Can I put the tools in the ultrasonic to help clean them? I don't know that the water alone is really going to take care of it. That's the problem. Because it's gooey latex. See, now the Dr. G's is actually pulling some off. You can see the black on there, but so that's kind of working. except it's kind of right at that point in the barrel where I can't. Hey, Gary. Oh, maybe this is my chance for my new bigger scraper here. Fitness Apple, 321. Thanks for the follow. There's a little bit of something there. This is definitely a case of where it's getting worse before it gets better. All right. And I'm going to have to ditch this rag too that I've been using. Because now I got stuff on there too. Wish I could show this to you. I don't think there's any way you can see. See if you can see this. There you go. You see that right at the bottom? That's gooey sack. Right down here. It's about there. That needs to come out. Oh, don't start. There's a big chunk right there. We got to get this all out, because if we don't, 100% that new sack is going to catch on that old sticky stuff. And it's going to stick, because I mean, this stuff will come off my hands. Latex is going to grab it, because it's a threaded section. VH2D. I want to pick up a vintage pen or two at pawn, but also don't want to buy someone else's problem either. Yeah. This is a perfect example of, the pen is outstanding. It's really, really. Oh, Pacific Northwest. Okay. This pen is an exceptional example. Now, in this particular case, this pen in any condition is, in this condition is worth messing with. But yeah, as Gabriel says over on YouTube, that's the game. You never know what you're going to get until you open it up. And the problem is, number one, you might not even be able to get it open. Or if you almost get it open and it breaks. Now, we should never use the B word while we're working on a Mandarin Senior Duofold. Never. Ever, 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 ever. But I bought some pens from a very respectable dealer, collector in Chicago. Most of them turned out great. One of them didn't open. Actually, a couple of them didn't open. But, there's no way to tell. I got a better than average chance by the fact that I knew the vendor. And a good friend of mine could absolutely vouch for the vendor, but yeah, this looks like some monster out of a monster movie. Those fibrous membrane. Yeah, so you just never know. And it's kind of the, you see a lot of people are like, oh, vintage pens, super easy, best value for the money. They are, except when things don't go right. And it happens to a lot of us, if not all of us, if you do it long enough. You're going to buy a dud. Now, hopefully, it's not going to be an expensive dud. But you never, ever, ever know. And that's why, and I know a lot of people on the forums will say, well, you know, people charge too much for restored pens. You can get them for, you know, you can get Esterbrook's for $10, $15, $20 at an antique store. Well, you sure can. Even Esterbrook's, you run across examples that you just can't get open. But you don't know. And you have to be willing to take that risk. Because the payoff is pretty good. Now, that being said, it's not... Where are these $10 Esterbrook's? I bought them all. I remember shows, people coming up to me with bags, quart baggies of Esterbrook's. And, you know, and basically my number was always $5 a piece. I wouldn't even look at them. I'll buy anything you got for $5 a piece. Don't care what the condition is. As is, where is, cheese whiz, fine. Broken jewels, whatever. I figure at $5 a piece, you know, it'll work itself out. The last two you saw at an antique store were 40. I can say with confidence, I saw 5 at the last antique mall I went to when they were $65 a piece. Now they were 15% off, but $65, which is what I charged for restored Esterbrook. Ooh, it's getting there. Yeah, even if some of them are studs, you still have parts. Yeah, usually you have parts. You know, and sometimes you have to be careful because you get some people who try to tell you that, oh, well, you know, I may have an issue, but at least you can use it for parts. Well, when you look at what the actual available parts are that you can pick off of that pen, sometimes they're not that great parts. You know, barrel Tassie on an Esterbrook. When's the last time you ever needed to use one of those? The Tassie. You know, I've had to use levers occasionally, but it's more likely you need a lever spring. But how often do you even need that? So you got to be careful with someone trying to sell you a pen like that. But if I pay $5, I really don't care. And that's how we used to do it. I would buy them by the bag, and people were happy as a clam to get rid of them because they didn't have a gold nib or, you know, whatever the situation was. All right, we almost have it all out. I'm gonna stop for now before I get too frustrated. And take a quick second to just... Some of the plastic parts you can actually 3D print them. Well, like what? I mean, you can't, I mean, I guess you could. Esterbrook sections are still pretty readily available. Although slender sections are quite hard to come by, believe it or not. This Dr. G's does a pretty good job of cleaning this up. I might actually stick that in acetone later and that'll dissolve it. All right, let's get on to the rest of this. You have a 3D printed Skyline barrel that you had your brother's friend print using a file you found online? You need to finish sanding it to get the pen put together. Is it with the lever box and everything? This is a rough barrel. I've got hairlines throughout. It's actually a miracle the thing came apart. What I might do for this one is, upon re-entry, I might seal it with thread sealant. Lever snaps in. Oh, cool. Now, if you can just 3D print the cap, the inner cap, Twisby is going to send you a new cap from Taiwan. Yeah, I think that Cerulean is maybe discontinued. I really can't keep track anymore. There's just they are getting rid of a bunch of their models. Wow, they're discontinuing because they're coming out with new stuff, but So they even got some on the end of the bar here. All right. Blind caps look good. A little bit of discoloration on this yellow one. That's something in my eye. So it does have what it looks like are really micro stress fractures, but not anything that's gonna, like if you jam that cap on to post it, that's probably where it's gonna break. Loose inner cap on a Caran d'Ache Ecuador. Would you try adjusting using a pencil with the rubber on top, rotating the cap to reset the inner cap or take out inner cap and put tape around it and put it back. Boy, it's been a long time since I've had an Ecuador. Is the inner cap threaded into the top jewel? Is that what you're insinuating? Because if that's the case, then yeah, I would probably take a pencil or something to try to hold that inner cap, much like the Kohinoors we had yesterday. I had to put a pencil in there to keep that inner cap from spinning while I unscrewed the top jewel. Normally I like to take these apart, but they were really quick to respond. You're happy with that advice? Okay, yeah, just keep that email handy. You never know when you're going to need it. That did it work? Would you take out the inner cap and tape it? I mean, I'd have to see. Maybe? I don't know. If you didn't need it to move, even like some thread sealant might be a good option to keep it from moving in the future. I would maybe not do shellac just because the higher temperature required to get it loose. Yeah, yeah, my section sealant, yeah. Just because it doesn't take much for it to soften. So if you needed to get at it again, it'll be easier to work with. All right. After a little soak, that seems to be coming out pretty well. You just got to keep picking at it. So you get it all off. The goal will be here to get this clean enough we can put a sack on it today. And we can finish the barrel tomorrow. This is for sure the most unfriendly pen I've had in a long time. It's good. And if you're wondering why I don't knock this out to take a look at it further, well, it blows like I expected to. That gooiness really was around the section and the section nipple, not in it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get anything at all out of it. And Duofold sections can be difficult. You might even say Parker sections in general, especially the later plastic sections on Vacuumatics, they can be very difficult to get nibs out of, and especially back in. Now, if I couldn't blow through it freely, then we would have no choice. But there's also always the risk that you're going to break something taking it apart. And now that we got it open, got a little bit of sack or something in my eye. Getting it open again shouldn't be that big of a deal. So we can always take the rest of it apart again. And knock it out later. But I don't think it's necessary. Pens like Schaefer's, they're just a little bit easier to get in. I mean, the bigger it is, the harder it is, you know. Yeah. And I had a little bit of ugly patina on there, so I did polish it off. It really just really looked bad. Oh, I get it now. Pacific Northwest, the pen show. I keep forgetting there's one there. There wasn't always one there. A friend of ours used to run it. I don't think she does anymore, but I'm gonna let the cap parts dry overnight. Put it back together tomorrow. These were highly polished and reasonably well taken care of. So, oh, what are we putting in here? Tour de France, interesting. Yellow jersey, quite some lead. I watched Mads Pedersen win last night, and then I was falling asleep, and I literally turned it off. Ooh, I got some rain hitting outside now. So I didn't really actually see. I mean, I know that the Peloton was like 12 minutes behind or something when I turned it off. Lisa always like looks. She knows what who the winner is by the time, lunch comes. Oh, Gary, I was thinking about you today. I I saw some auctions on Invaluable that one of them was an entire shelf of cycling books, a majority of which were about Lance Armstrong or by Lance Armstrong, or it was kind of funny. And they're in Australia, and then there were a couple other cycling related auctions. I don't know if it was that same auction house or what the deal was, but now I got to look. I suppose Pogacar figures there was no way Mads Pedersen is going to beat him up the Alpe d'Huez twice, among other the rest of the climbs. As they said that there is Pogacar's got like 12 chances to win this tour. 12, I'm sorry, 10. He gave one away and he did win one. You'll have to check it out. Was one of them How to Dope by Lance Armstrong? A step-by-step guide. No, it was a very strange auction because it was literally like they went up to somebody's bookshelf and one shelf had cycling books, and they literally just took a picture of the shelf. There were some books in front stacked, horizontally, so you couldn't read all the spines. And then, they didn't list them all. They just said, here it is. So it's one shelf worth. I don't know how many books that you couldn't count. And then, the next row was like random gardening books or something. But yeah, if you go on Invaluable, they'll have. They had some cool things on there that I was looking at, but they had a one I was tempted by, but I decided to be a little picky. Was the 1969 World Championship poster. Now, at least to me, the winners of the 1969 World Championships I've never heard of. So that right away rules me out. But there actually were two World Championships. The amateur worlds were in a completely different city, in a different place than the pro worlds, and the poster ends up being for an easy search tells you is for the amateur world. So I can't help but wonder if they're being deliberately vague about the poster. It's a cool poster, but it's like if you collect T206 baseball cards, do you start collecting the amateur ones? I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. But let's clean that off a little bit. You probably get the books for fairly cheap. Could probably sell the ones you don't want. Because somebody will want to read them. I would like to sell my U.S. Postal Priority Mail envelopes with Lance Armstrong as the second two-time winner of the Tour de France. I would love to sell those, but I'm not going to give them away. But I'm also not going to put them on my wall of fame either. So. You have 7 of those. You found it already, huh? You have 7 of those books. They're 45 minutes from you. You'll give it a miss as I have too many books to read and saving up for the next North American pen auction. Starting bid is this is 180. Well, anyway, I thought of you. I think there's other pieces too in the auction. Maybe you find something else that's interesting. I don't know. I'm hoping that overnight this dries out a little bit. Now that there's not much on here, that it will move a little easier. Time to fly. Thanks for the entertaining Mandarin repair. Oh my God. I just want it to work when done. Have a great evening. Keep getting it on my... I'm just going to pause that off right now. We'll jump on the site. It's one of our premier auction houses. I bought pens there. It's close to where your pen club is. Oh, cool. You know, I couldn't have gotten that lucky, but it would have been hilarious if the auction site that I won stuff from was like in Denmark while Lisa was in Denmark. Hey, honey, you think you can make a stop over to Ziegler's auction house and pick up a package for me? It should fit in your suitcase. All right, at least it's clean now. You know, let's do this. I know this doesn't make for a very entertaining viewing, but you know, you got to do this. Yeah, now that I won an auction on Invaluable, and I've got keywords set up, I'll never find another thing that I want again. There's quite a lot of pens on there, but competition is fierce. And there's quite a lot of pens that have no pictures. If anybody watching the stream today or on replay is in our local pen club, check your email. Pen club dates for the rest of the year up through November have been set. As well as the September meeting, which will be Pelican Hub on the 25th. The December meeting is up in the air right now. Okay. It's a little better every time. We're going to leave it, deal with it tomorrow. If a pen frustrates you too much, you got to set it down. You come back at it the next day. We've got sacks on there, so if we can get that clean, it's just like a minute little bit now, because I'm getting little pieces out, with every successive pass. I think if once it dries up, it might get harder. So we've got the ink component basically out of the latex that's on there. It still may be gooey and sticky, but it might be less sticky, if that makes any sense. And then it might be easier to get out, but it just needs to dry. What time is it? Almost 4. Okay, so we got some time to putz around with these. Let's take a look at the Kohinoor and the Deltograph barrels. They've been soaking overnight. There is the mess. It is black. I've got Rapidoese inside the barrel. The goal is to get the stylograph unit out. And then we're going to soak the barrels in Dr. G's. If they have an option to take an alternative colored ink at the hub, I'll take them up on it. I don't even mind the color, but that's a lot of shimmer. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, what they did last year and what they've done in years past. Well, that's disgusting, isn't it? Is they have sent multiple colors, including the ink of the year. This is cool. This is going to be a cool pen if we get this back together. They're a little too slippery to grab onto, so I'm going to clean up the barrels here just a little bit here. I've got them. Yeah, that color is not for me either. Obviously, I'm not going to use a shimmer ink, but what I need is a wrench. It's slotted for a wrench. I wonder. Hang on, hold that thought. This is probably too big. Yeah. Well, we could make one. Frisbee wrench ain't gonna work. Let's see if I got something else that'll work. Parallel jaw pliers would work. Do I have an extra one of those? It's great to hang out at the hub, and they send nice gifts all over the world. Hard to complain for such. Yeah, it is nice. Yeah. I'm going to try this. This is a parallel jaw pliers. This actually was designed for pulling snorkel tubes, but it's kind of flat on the ends, so it will work. And it is working. Yeah, our location last year really proved out to be pretty fantastic. Turned out to be fantastic. This is disgusting. Where did my... it was a cute little house. Kind of on the west side of town. Well, that's something else, huh? Let's try this next one. This one's got a flat spot, but the other one doesn't. I can feel these barrels are really they're very thick. You had it in some nice house gallery or something. We were on a restaurant downtown to be accessible by Metro. Yeah, there's a local group that owns this house, and they rent it out essentially to groups that want to have events there. And so like I know there's a group there that like some local filmmakers, and they'll have movie night once a month or something. Well, they'll show the movies that they make. There are other groups that have like poker night or whatever. Because they've got like some poker tables, and you almost picked one up at an antique mall near you, but the back end of the barrel had a hairline crack. The piston is what seals it, but still, yeah. Mm. I thought these would be fun projects. I am now somewhat questioning my sanity, but that's okay. Well, at least one of them came completely apart. Did we have to question it? My sanity? Yes, sometimes you do. Sometimes we do. So this will do two things. It'll get rid of some of that nasty ink in there, and it will clean up that barrel. Now this guy does not have a notched nib unit. Don't want to scratch it up, but boy, that parallel jaw pliers really work great. I really can't tell if I'm moving it or not. I'm going to drop it in the Dr. G's. It's got to go sideways. I haven't used this parallel jaw pliers in ages. It's always nice when you find a new use for something. Well, that cleaned up nice. I don't know. Do I need another stylograph? I mean, when's the last time you saw one from Holland? Look how great that is. It's got, you can see the green, the light green piece on the bottom where the nib unit slides through. Maybe that's my collecting focus for 2026 through 2027. I'm gonna collect really cool stylographs, but only you people on the stream are gonna know about it because right now they're going for, they go for cheap. Look at that. That's great. I think we already did. We took these apart, so these should be good. Yeah, thankfully the house that we're renting and they take like it's a very reasonable donation fee. Um, I was actually shocked. I mean, people throw if you throw in $5, we're all good, and a couple people threw in a 20, and we're at like I think all they really needed was like $50, and that was good. So very reasonable to rent the space for the evening. You know, clean up after yourself, take out the trash when you're done. So the gray is 0. The red is number 2. And this one has the knob integrated right on there's no blind cap. Just going to dip it in the Dr. G's here for something. You loved the hub last year. Plan on going this year too? Yeah. And the thing about it is and whatever. What we found is you found people who don't normally come to the club meeting will come to the Pelican Hub, and maybe it's the one meeting they can make. Maybe it's they know that it's going to be a bigger meeting. Maybe truth be told, it's a meeting that gives away free stuff. I don't really care what the reason is, but we get to see some people we don't normally see at the rest of the meetings year round. There we go. Well, I broke my toothpick, so. But there is some old ink. It's a big thunderstorms behind me. There were people that didn't want the shimmer ink, so they put it on the free table. You got a bottle of Golden Apis that way? There we go. Yeah, we had a couple of giveaways. And a couple of people actually brought stuff to raffle off just for fun. I was kind of a little upset. A buddy of mine brought a bottle of, not upset is the wrong word. Brought a bottle of Sailor Gentle, I think it was Epinard. And he said, and ironically, I just got a spam message from him. Not from him, but I get these spam messages from someone trying to be him. But yeah, I ate a bottle of Epinard. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not really eligible to win, so. But we've got a couple of I had a client who sent me some pens that she wasn't using, and so a couple of them I took, and they're going to be giveaways for hopefully for newbies. Okay, so that's, I think what I'm going to do with these. Rinsing them off in the water, and I'm going to dunk them in the Dr. G's just for a little bit while I start working on those other barrels. The Rapido-Ease seems to have gotten off most of the excess. Excess junk. This is looking better already. I'm gonna reuse this cloth anyway, so. You got an M400 coming today, 80s green stripe. It's the last one you need. Is you have the 600, 800, and 1000 all in green stripe. Wow. You should check those out. You only have two Pelicans, a Silver Star cartridge, and M21 and Sylvexa cap. Both have oblique broad nibs. That's nice. That's much better. And I bet this inside is really, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Make life easy on me. I'm going to have to I'm going to get rid of this water anyway. I've said this before, and this may shock people, but I don't own a single Pelican. Not a single one. The free table was awesome. People trading stuff there all night long. Yeah, I've got a couple of things for newbies or kids, but they're not things that I want to raffle off. They're not raffle worthy. But if I get a young, kids is a relative word, but if I get a beginner or a kid or something, they'll make that a future prerequisite to host the hub next year. Must own a Pelican. What's the reason for not having one? You can't think of a reason to have one? Not to have them? I guess I have my reasons. My reasons may be a little silly. I don't know. There's a number that I like. A number of them that I like. I thought that Renaissance Brown was really a stunning, stunning color. I like the Stress 'em in. I used to own an M600 blue. I used to own an M200 Chicago, which in good faith I can't ever own one of those again. And that may be part of my hindrance right now. Is I'll always think of that pen because I really liked it. I had an, or no, did I have a Chicago? I didn't have a Chicago. I had an M200 Anthracite, but I wanted the Chicago. I always thought the Chicago was a cool looking pen. All right, well that one turned out all right. If I were to get one, I think I'd probably go for an 800. Would probably be my my first choice. And honestly, I can't decide whether I'd rather have a blue again, because I really like the blue. I got the blue as a kind of a pseudo Father's Day present for myself. Back when the Boston show was a 2-day affair. Somebody traded me the M600, basically new in the box, for an Edison something. I don't remember. Collier, maybe? Beaumont? Perlette? I don't remember. Herald? Maybe it was a Herald. And I used it for many years. I liked it. But you just can't have everything, you know. Nice. Really nice. So the question is that nib coming out? Last year I gave away a Pelican. It was an inexpensive cartridge Pelican. So I guess technically I did own one. I just gave it away. All right, that helped immensely. If there's any more threads on this thing, we're gonna drop that back in there. This, look at that ink. I'm gonna drop that in the Rapido-Ease. $800 is a great pen. The 1000 is not for long writing sessions, but it does have a springy nib. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for broad nibs and stuff, and I always found the 1000 nib was a little bit mushy and quite broad. All right, Fuzzy. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. I I like the fine nibs actually on Pelican because they run broad anyway, so I thought it always ran closer to a medium. Um, you know, and every time I thought about buying one, I was never really in a position to actually buy one. So my money needed to go elsewhere. Boy, this is going to look great. I did see I had one. I had that new Pelican in, and it was really a stunner. In fact, Lisa actually when I opened it up, Lisa was actually here. She's like, "Well, do you want to get one of those? Just order one for yourself." What is it called? I forget what it's called. The George Tipple. That pen was stunning. Really a great, great looking pen. I think the other reason is it's, if you don't own one, like it doesn't fit in anywhere. I bought a Sailor this year. Couple Twisbys. Was that one of the art series, the silver overlay pen? Yeah, it was. It was kind of like a gold. Um, gold color. It was really, really very nice. One of my consigners wanted one. Said, sure, I'll get it for you. I mean, it was nuts how good looking it is. Very few pens these days. Maybe call me jaded because I see a lot of stuff, but very few pens get that kind of reaction out of me. You got 14, huh? I also try to be good about I may joke about buying pens. I'm really trying to be slightly more selective of certain things. And, and that happens if whether it be by choice or by force. Um, you reduce your collection, you thin it down, or um, you move in a different direction. It forces you to think differently about what you like and what you don't like. And I may get one someday. I'm not saying my vintage pen buying, my modern pen buying is done. Um, and maybe the pen for me is maybe it's a vintage Pelican. I don't know. Although vintage all sort of doesn't really appeal too much to me, only because the color choices are very limited. And no, I'm not going to get a Toledo. But I've never really been big into German pens for no other reason than I'm into other things. Um, I did manage to run across. You're going through that process at the moment, trying to work out where I want to go with my collecting. Yeah, and I think it's a healthy exercise. Um, Whether or not, I mean, even if you had unlimited funds, every once in a while you got to sit back and go, well, you buy things that sometimes you think are right in the moment, and then you look at them later and you go, oh, why did I buy that? I don't really like that pen. It doesn't interest me. It doesn't bring me joy. Why am I keeping it? Is the nib bad? Does the nib need to be worked on? You just don't like the weight. Someone posted something on one of the Facebook groups yesterday or today or something like that about, hey, if you're buying a certain collection of pens and then one comes out and you really don't like it, do you buy it anyway? I'm like, well, don't buy what you don't like. And if you buy something and later on you determine you really don't like it, get rid of it. Look at this. Now we got it out. More yuckiness. But then you got to be careful because you can't bend that needle. put it there because I think this is still clogged up a little bit. This has got a cover. Now this is for this guy. Pretty certain. And in there. That's a good sign if it spurts through there, because then, I mean, that's nasty. We're going to get as much out as possible. Ew, that's disgusting. With the Q-tip, and then we're going to soak them. So what I want to do, I'm going to do these first. I'm going to put them in here because these two are the same. And then Lisa will be happy. I'm finally using this little cup here. The fact that that's stuck to my finger is proof enough. All right, so delta graph in there, 2 Kohinoors in there. Dilute it a little bit. Just enough to cover them. Okay. we're gonna let those soak overnight. Probably don't need that much. Looks like I need a little more water in there. It should be interesting to see what it looks like tomorrow. You can see a little bit of stuff coming around there. It looks like it's junk on my fingers. Let's cover that up. And I'm gonna call it a day. That's good enough for me. Sonekin is a vintage German brand that you're interested in getting some of their pens. They make nice pens. Kohinoor makes nice pens. So we'll continue tomorrow. We'll continue on that very stubborn Mandarin Duofold. Try to get the rest of the junk out of that barrel. Hopefully, letting it dry overnight will be good. Otherwise, who knows? We can try all sorts of things. But try to put those together. I got to try to find something for that vest pocket. And we'll go from there. Also tomorrow, podcast 4:15, 4:30, probably just to say 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And that's all I got. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow, right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.